So, Mr. Griffith, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. And let me say, I've been very pleased to hear lots of folks talk about robust oversight, and that we have to do a lot of oversight. As ranking member on the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee, I think Chairwoman DeGette would agree with me that in order to do a lot of robust oversight on this and other important projects that we oversee on the Energy and Commerce Committee, because what we oversee and what we have as jurisdiction is so broad, we might need some additional staff and some additional committee slot times to get all that in. But I'm up for it, and I'm pretty sure the Chairman DeGette would be up for it too. That being said, I do want to thank you, Chairman Doyle and Ranking Member Latta, for allowing me the opportunity to wave on today and be a participant in this hearing. I believe that some of our most valuable bipartisan work that we can do is on broadband and broadband expansion. I was disappointed that my bill didn't make the list today. Hopefully it'll make the list at some point, but I've got a bill, HR 1051, that I introduced back in February called the Broadband Leadership Act. My bill would make telecommunications infrastructure investment more efficient by expediting local permitting decisions in either 90 or 150 days, depending on the type of site. If no decision is made or an extension waiver is not obtained, the provider would be granted a permit by default. Additionally, it would ensure that permitting fees are tied to actual processing and equipment maintenance costs. Now, I heard somebody talk about a 60-day time limit earlier, and if we need to put some protective language in there for historic sites or something like that, I'm more than happy to work with people on that language. Mr. Brandenburg, I know that any delay when burying fiber or constructing fixed wireless can force a company to shift its investment to a different area at the expense of the consumer, particularly the rural consumer. And so you all know, most of my district would be considered rural. I represent 29 different geopolitical subdivisions across about a 4.5 to 6 hour, depending on how you measure it, wide district. Do you believe, Mr. Brandenburg, that delays in permitting are sometimes used to favor certain providers over others, or is site permitting just not a priority for those who are making those decisions?
Thank you, Representative Griffith. I would say that from our experience, I do not see any preference in the local authorities. By the way, these guys are doing a great job, especially during the pandemic. There were some comments made about being able to do that remotely as well. I think those all need to be considered. I just think that they are overwhelmed and understaffed. And in many cases, if broadband is meant to be a priority and it needs to be in this country, we need to, yes, have those discussions with them about what we intend to do in a inviting way. But we also, I think, we do need some kind of provisions for a shot clock so that we can move on with the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Do you think that my bill would help then? It sounds like you do.
I do. Yeah. I believe that we need some kind of a mechanism to, and a single point of contact, I might add as well, so that we can not have to deal with multiple agencies. Sometimes we're dealing with federal, state, and local. And sometimes they're cascading events that happen in series. And I think a lot of those things could happen in parallel.
All right, I appreciate that. In dealing with a variety of municipalities at your company, how have permitting processes impacted your expansion decisions?
So it is a great area of concern, and sometimes we get capital authorized for specific projects, and if we cannot execute, and we have to build a business plan, right, to be able to serve those customers. And if we are waiting a year plus for those projects to actually be ready for construction, the business dynamics, just like a grant application to the federal government, those dynamics have changed, and nothing stands still for that period of time. So it greatly affects our ability. So timely investments require timely permitting.
Well, I appreciate that greatly. I see my time is just about up. And so, Mr. Chairman, thank you for letting me participate, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.